Video number 2 on the positive and negatives following the exercises. So my first video exercise was the Plyo tuck jump. What I seen from it, that it wasn't an actual tuck jump. She didn't actually exert any. There was no actual tuck inside of her movement. She basically just did a squat box jump and a double leg jump to box, which her form was good. Even stepping off the box, that step back with 1 foot, transfer of weight, step back. She did all that. That transition was good, but she actually didn't what I would consider an actual plyo tuck jump, because there was no actual tuck and land, and from a set position, right? She just jumped up to a box position and then stepped down. There was no tuck jump. Oh, and then she didn't really generate full force because she didn't really start in a preparatory movement. She kind of just bounced right into it and went right into another one instead of kind of going back erect, setting herself, create max and then create that max force, and generate that max force to jump up to get her maximum peak of force, or to exert more to, better increase her ability to generate force. Video number 2 was the barbell squat. So from initial, she really didn't do a barbell squat. I wouldn't say that to somebody just like that, but her feet were very narrow. She didn't have like the 30-degree out. Her knees didn't track over her feet. They were kind of pushed out, and then as she came back up, even though she didn't go below parallel, she definitely did not hit the depth that she needed to hit. What she did do well, though, is that her spine was in a neutral position. The knees, like I said, going back to the knees should go, forward and out, not in, and she kind of bowed in there, kind of pushing it out. And then another thing that I saw when she got to the top of her squat, she hip extended forward, which is, Mark Ripto says is a big no-no. So she did that little stop, pause, hip extension forward, and then sat back down. The next video was the single arm snatch. So right from the starting position, she did have a nice neutral, like, spinal position from her head, but when she was reaching down, her shoulder, her scapular, wasn't it was just dangling there. It wasn't retracted. It wasn't strong, as I would say. It wasn't getting ready for that particular movement. As she's bringing it up, the dumbbell in the up movement phase actually is far away from her. So instead of bringing it straight up, she's actually bringing it more out. So it's actually getting away from her, creating it, a harder movement for her, and possibly could be some pinching in her shoulder, or impingement, could cause an impingement in her shoulder. And her elbow was out of position. So as she was coming up, instead of the elbow tucked, I think her elbow was out. So it's just during that whole up phase in the movement, she was, excuse me, the dumbbell was far away from her body, and her elbow was out of position. She makes a good catch at full extension, but then she doesn't complete the downward movement phase. So when she goes up and she completes it, she stands, she's firm, she kind of catches it, stands straight up, and she's elbows locked out. But then she switches the dumbbell to the other hand, and she doesn't complete the actual down phase. And at about 40 seconds in, she's not even doing it at all. She's basically just doing a swing at that point. She's basically just doing a dumbbell swing. The final video was the push jerk. From the starting position, his elbows were actually flared out. So on the push jerk, you want those elbows to be nice, either underneath the bar, or they can be a little forward out of the bar, but they pretty much want them underneath the bar, right? So and his elbows were basically like this, like he was in a front squat position, holding it like that. He was basically in a weird front squat position. Um, he did have a good dip. So on that second movement, on that dip movement, he did have a good dip, and he drives through. And I slowed it down and released it down, and I actually watched him lift up. And his heels do come up off the ground, and it looks like he's gonna get a full extension. But when he drives through the catch, he doesn't lock out, and he doesn't go into that recovery position. He kind of just falls into the next one, which it's he's just not completing the full movement, not and just just coming down quickly to try to get into the next one. And that's video 2 for the 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 YouTube videos.